Welcome to Sage Audio. Today, let's look at how to master with free plugins. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Start with mid-side EQ. The steps in this video are in order, and each subsequent processor is part of a mastering chain. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is insert a mid-side equalizer. I'll use the M equalizer by Melda Audio, and in the output section, change it to mid and side processing. Then, I'll create a band, right-click to open up the settings, and change it to the side image. I'm going to make a high-pass filter and move it up to about 70 Hz to attenuate low side frequencies. This is going to make the kick and bass more mono and focused. Additionally, I'll create a bell filter on the side and attenuate around 2.5 kHz. This is going to help the mids of the vocal to cut through. Let's take a listen, and keep in mind that this effect is going to be subtle.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
OTT for upward compression. If used subtly, OTT can work well for mastering. I'm going to turn the depth, upward and downward dials to 0%, then drag all the bars in the middle to the right. Then I'll set upward to about 10% and slowly increase the depth dial until I notice amplification. A little goes a long way with this plugin, so let's take a listen to it with some aggressive settings and then scale it back.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. GSAP Plus on the side image. What's cool about this free plugin is that you can saturate different aspects of your image. So first I'll saturate the side image, which will amplify it and cause some mild stereo expansion. Using the monitoring section up top, I can also solo the side and then dial in the settings. There's no exact correct setting here, it's just what you find sounds best for the mix. Since we're mastering, it's best to enable some oversampling to avoid aliasing. Let's take a listen to some of the subtle changes that this makes.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, the air.
GSAP Plus on mid image. Let's use the same plugin that we did in the last chapter, but this time, saturate the mid image. Again, we can monitor only the mids by selecting it up top. I'll use a different saturation setting and varying harmonic amounts to help differentiate my mid image saturation from the side. Again, oversampling is needed to avoid some unwanted aliasing distortion. Let's take a listen.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Expansion with Stereo Helper. We have some options for free stereo expanders, but I like Stereo Helper since it lets me adjust the balance between the mid and the side image. Additionally, I can monitor these changes, quickly preview my mid and side image, and test mono compatibility, which is definitely helpful. Now, the only function I'll use in this is the side gain, with which I'll amplify the side image slightly. Alternatively, you could leave the side alone and subtly attenuate the mid. Let's take a listen with aggressive settings and then bring the side image down to a more reasonable level.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Additive mid-side EQ with overtone. Next, I'm going to use an EQ to add more of what I like to the signal. With the Overtone GEQ by Voxengo, I'll first switch the processing to mid and side, but this is optional. On the mid, I'm going to boost a little of the kick's fundamental. I'll also dip some of 350 Hz and bring the vocal forward a little with a 2 kHz slider and adjust the frequency to best match the vocal's presence range. Now on the side, I'm going to boost a little bit of the low mids around 400 Hz, which definitely sounds better on the side than the mid, and then I'll boost some of the highs to add some air. This plugin also introduces some mild harmonics, so I like to include oversampling as well. Let's take a listen.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Free clipper, option 1. Clippers are helpful if you want a loud sound, but you don't want to use your limiter too aggressively, since a limiter is going to reduce the impact of your transients. Cymatics Diablo Lite is a good clipper, so I'll set the clipper to hard and subtly increase the value. I'd avoid the punch mode since it doesn't work too well on a master. Let's take a listen to how this hard clipper increases loudness and helps to augment transients.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Free Clipper, option 2. If you want some various clipping shapes, Free Clip by Venaudio is another good option. Increase the input gain until clipping occurs, which can be observed when the waveform turns red. You can change the clip type, adjust the clip ceiling, and enable oversampling to again avoid aliasing distortion. I like to lower the output of mine a little bit as well. Let's take a listen and know that after this demonstration, I'm going to switch back to using the Somatics clipper instead of this one.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Free limiter, option 1. We also have some free options for limiters. First, let's try out limiter 1 by SysDSP, which I find retains the transients but introduces a little bit of unwanted pumping at higher levels, at least with this mix. I'll set the release to 200 milliseconds since that's not too quick to distort the signal. Also, I'll lower the ceiling a little to avoid intersample peaking, something that this limiter is surprisingly good at avoiding. Let's take a listen.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Free limiter, option 2. Loudmax by Thomas Munt is another popular free limiter. It works like the Wave L1, in which you can simply reduce the threshold to enable both limiting and auto makeup gain. Now this has a smoother and warmer sound with less pumping, but I think I'm hearing some added distortion. Let me know which limiter you prefer in the comments, and let's take a listen to it.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Monitoring with Isolate and Ulane. Last up, I'm going to monitor the signal first by using Isolate, which I'll insert before my limiter. I'll solo specific frequencies and monitor the mid and side just to make sure everything sounds the way I want it to. Then I'll remove the plugin. After the limiter, I'll insert the free version of the Ulane loudness meter to check my LUFS, which I want somewhere between -14 LUFS and -9 LUFS. Again, after this is measured, I'll remove it from the chain. Let's take a listen to the before and after, using some gain compensation on the before part to better understand the differences.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.